So last week on Friday, I gave you guys a quiz, right? And this was the question to the quiz that I gave you guys. And this question is the same question. I didn't change anything. It's the same question as this number one of this question. The same. I did not change anything. So I gave it to them on purpose without changing anything. So this is October, November 2022, number 1. So instead of integer data, I just turned it to num data. That was all. It's the same question. Data array, I changed it to num array. Read file. Then I changed it to what? I think I changed it to read data. So it's still the same thing. It's the same question. So this is more or less solving a past question on question 1 of 2022 October, November. Okay. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. Okay, let's start with the first one. We'll open our Visual Studio and let's solve this problem. Okay, good. It says that write, a text file numdata.txt stores 100 integer numbers between 1 and 100 inclusive. So let's bring in the text file, okay, into the folder that we're working with. I already opened some folder here because I was working with that folder. So let me take my file to that folder. So the file is what? The file is numdata. So let me take this file. So the folder that has already been opened, which is this. So once it's there, no, Control Z. Okay, yeah. So once it's here, automatically it appears on Visual Studio. You can see there, it's already there now. So that means we can use that file. So the question states that a source file is used to answer the question, which is numdata.txt, which is what we just brought in now. Okay, a source file, okay, I've read that. The text file numdata stores integer numbers between 1 and 100 inclusive. It has some numbers. The program is required to read this data, perform search and sorting on this data. Write program code to declare a global 1D array with space for 100 integer. So num array is a global array, right? So you just write the word global, the num array. Okay. Now, when you write global num array can be anything. It can be an integer, it can be a character, it can be anything, a string. Do you understand? So you must at least make it an empty list to show that it's an array. Is that understood? Then you say num array is equal to this. That is all. Then you write a comment and says that stores what? Integer 100 values of integer. Okay? Your question.
You're saying we should have 100 things. So shouldn't you do times 100?
You are not asked to have 100 things in it.
No, 100 like.
It doesn't say have 100 things. It just say with a space for. It should have a space to accommodate 100. It doesn't mean it should have 100. So most of you are used to saying 0 times 100, right? I think I corrected that in class some times ago. And I say, where's Sion? Okay, good. Please don't do that again. Because when you are working with Q, it's going to affect your work if you are working with Q and stack. So that means that you already have 100 things, then it's going to affect your work. Then you end up not finishing your work or having issues with your code, and you won't be able to submit, or you submit something that is not complete. Okay, so stop doing that. Just put it as an empty array. Is that understood? In some other programming languages, we can declare the boundary. But in Python, we don't declare boundary for what? For list. Is that understood? So just put that in your what? In your comments. Is this understood? Okay, good. So the next thing, write a program. That is exactly what we've done. So B. Now, some of you, so the next question says that, back to the question, where are you? Okay. The procedure of read data. So we have another word function, read data. Then we write def. When I'm declaring a function, you write def first, isn't it? then the name of the function, read data. So did you guys see that I'm reading line by line and solving the question line by line? I'm not reading everything and going back to summarize what I've read. No, it's line by line. So the procedure read data must read in the numbers from the text file. Read in the number from the text file and store each one in the array. Read in and store each. The question says use exception handling. The question may not even say use exception handling, but you must. Is that understood? According to what I told you. So that means how do you use exception? You write try, isn't it? Enter. Try will try to do it, isn't it? And I say you should always use what? With open, isn't it? Then the name of what? Of the file. What is the name of the file? numdata.txt, right? So numdata.txt. Is that understood? As what? As a variable. Is that understood? So let me just say file. It's not compulsory, you always say file. Okay, just use any variable. So when you open a data for read, by default, this is for read, isn't it? Is that correct? So automatically data has been read. Is that understood? The data has been read. Once you open it for read, it's just like I opened something for read. I open a file for read. Won't you see what is there? It has been read automatically. Is that understood? So good. Then the question now states that read the numbers from the file and store each one in the array. And the numbers is in each line, isn't it? So instead of saying read again file.read, I don't do that. I'll just say for line in file. That is for each line in file. It's just what? It's just an array. Sorry, it's just a for loop that goes to each line of that file that has been read. So the file has been read. Once you open, automatically it has been read. Is that understood? So this for loop, it does something over and over, right? So that means the for loop will iterate from the beginning of the line to the end of the line. Not because I use line. I can say for x in what? In file. It doesn't matter. Is that understood? It just goes in that line. Is that understood? Then in this point, then I want to save it in what? In num array, isn't it? Then I say num array dot append. Dot what? Dot append. I'm coming. Dot append. Is that understood? So what are we appending? Each of the line, isn't it? So that will be x. Simple. But it is not a practice to use a good practice to use x, isn't it? Which is the reason why I use line. So that line is not a keyword. It is just a variable. Is this understood? So then I say for line, then num.array append line. Is that understood? So which is that? That means that each of the line has been read into what? Into num array. So back to the question. Do you know that we are reading in numbers? Is that understood? What are we reading in? That means this number is what? Is it a string or an integer? It's an integer, not a string. Is that understood? The number is an integer, but in the file is a what? Is a string. So when you read anything from a file, it is a string, even if they are numbers. But what we need to save into the array is a what? Is an integer. Is that understood? So this reading is telling me that the only thing I'm reading is a what? Is a string, which is what? Wrong. Is that understood? Is that understood? So that means that before I append the file to the array, I need to say line is equal to integer line. Is this understood? Convert each to an integer before you now save into the array. Now the file has been read. Now that the file has been read, what can I do now? Then I can end the try, right? Oh, sorry. Integer line. Then with this, then except exception as A, then print A. Understood? So I'll say exception as L, then print ERR. Okay? Good. So that question has been answered, which is read data. So you can decide to confirm what you have done, if you have done the right thing, before you go to the next question. So to confirm, just call read data, okay? So when you call read data, what happens? Then you can now print the array. Is that understood? Then print what? Num array. Is this understood? Good. So let's see if we've done the right thing. Now, have you done the right thing? Have you done the right thing? So you can see that is our array. If we did not convert to integer and we do this, then what do we have? Then you have your /n. Everything, all the strings is coming back. Is that understood? All the string is there. Don't forget that the new character is also a string, right? Then everything is there. So which will be wrong according to this question? Then when you are searching, you are going to have problem, which is the reason some of you, your codes are correct, but it did not run. In the quiz, some of your code are correct, but it did not run because you did not convert to integer. So while you are running it, you are trying to search for what? For 61, but unfortunately 61 will not be found because this is not 61, this is 61 and a new character. Is that understood? So you did not search for 61 and what? A new character. So these are some of your mistakes. Okay, good. So let's move forward. So we can delete that. We only use that to test if our code is working well. Okay, good. Then the next thing is now saying that the procedure search num. So I have def search num. This is how to write a procedure, isn't it? A function. So it says that ask user to input a number to search for in the array. To search for in the array. Then I can now say user is equal to what? Input, enter the number to what? To search. Understood? Enter the number what? To search. But this is going to give us an error, right? Because the input is a what? Is a string. We need to convert to what? Integer. Then I have integer. Understood? Okay, good. Then what is the next thing? The next question says the number must be a whole number between 1 and 100. That means the person must give us a number between 1 and 100. Is that understood? The person must give us a number between what? 1 and 100. So that means we must validate, right? We must check if the input is 1 or is between 1 and 100. Then we say if 1 is less than or equal to user, less than or equal to 100. What is this doing? What is it doing? It's checking if the number is between what? 1 and 100. Is that understood? So if it's in between, what does it do? The function then returns the number of times. Number of times the number appears in the array. Returns the number of what? The number appears in the what? In the array. That means we must check first if the number is in the array first, isn't it? That we must comb all the array. We must search all the spaces in the array, right? That means we need a what? A for loop to search every position. Is that understood? So that means I need a for loop and say for x in range of the length of what? Num array. Is this understood? Is this understood? So that means x starts from what? 0, 1, 2, up to what? Up to 99, not 100. Because range will go from 0 to 99. Is this understood? Good. Then I check that if user is equal to what? Is equal to num array of what? X. But I want to check the number the user is giving us. Is it equal to the number in that position? Is that understood? Is it equal to the number in that position? If it is equal, what am I asked to do? Then I need to count because it will go back to the next position to check, right? So I need to say count is equal to count plus 1. So that means I must have declared count, isn't it? As equal to what? 0. I didn't declare it initially because I don't know I needed it. Because I have to solve the question line by line. Once some of you see a question like this, the first thing you do is to declare count. You don't even know what to do. You just declare count. You don't even know the reason because you see that, oh, Mr. Ismail always declare count. Let me just declare count.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It will be minus 1 is no.
Because length of array goes from 1 to 100. Minus 1 would be 0 to
Length of
90.
array does not go from 1 to 100. It goes from 0 to 99.
Isn't length the number? Then if you do minus 1, it becomes length.
Exactly. That's what you've always done.
No, that was different from this.
Oh, sorry.
That one is for sorting. It's different from this.
Length doesn't go from 1.
Let's talk from 0, not from 1. The range of the length. The range of 5 is 0 to 4. Range of 99 is 0 to 98. Range of 100 is 0 to 99. Range of 10 is 0 to 9. Range of 4 is 0 to 3.
The question was just about length.
So usually when you write length of array.
So if I write length minus 1, that means it's going from 0 to 98. That means the array is not totally searched.
I'm saying without range, if you just write it.
If I don't put range.
No, I'm talking about in a different instance.
Let's talk about this question. We're solving this question now, right? Yeah.
Then I understand.
You understand, right? Okay, good. Who else is confused? Are you all fine? Yeah, your question.
When you sent the question, you didn't add the source code. So I was wondering, like, does it for the text, does it go from 100? Like, are there like 100 items in the text?
Oh, that means I forgot to send the text file. You didn't ask for that. I would have done that. This is the text file. Can you see it now? There are different numbers. It's not going from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 100. No. They are just different numbers. But the total number of numbers is how many? 100 numbers. But you don't know which one is number 89 or which one is at the 90th position or 10th position. You don't know. Is that understood? Good. Understood, everyone? Are we all fine? Good. So count equals to count plus 1. So that means that this starts from x equals to 0. It checks the number the user inputs, right? And check if it is equal to the number in array 0. Is that understood? If they are equal, count becomes what? 1. It goes back to check x equals to what? 1. Is that understood? Are you guys following me? Then it checks if the numbers are equal to the next position, to the number in the next position. If they are not equal, count still remains 1. Then it goes back to x equals to 2. Is that understood? Then it compares with what? With the number in what? In the third position. If they are not equal, goes to until it gets to x equals to what? 99. That means it has done it 100 times. Is that understood? When it is done, the value of count is now derived. Then after it is done, then out of the for loop, then I do what? Then I return count. So that means count must have been fully calculated before it is returned. If not, it quits the function. Because returns mean that is the end of what? Of the function. Is that understood? Then you return count. Is this understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So else print enter a number between 1 and 100 inclusive. Okay, so that is I think that question has been answered, right? Is it answered? Yeah, the question has been answered. So let's go back to the question. The function then returns the number of times the input appears in the what? In the array. So to prevent issues while running your code and for the sake of other questions, I said when you have a global variable, always you declare it in each of the function, isn't it? So to prevent you having problem with some other questions, so let's declare global num array. You come back and write global num array. Is that understood? Any question, everyone? So we are all done, right? Your question.
Since you defined it in the beginning out of all the other functions,
Yeah.
why do we have to define it again in
Oh,
the function?
in some cases, it won't be linked to the outside variable.
It's global.
I explained that in so many videos, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought I explained that in so many videos. If you did not declare it in the new function, if the number array here is in the outside function, maybe you have maybe a different number. In this function, the number has changed. After you call the function in the main loop, then it will retain. It won't have the new value in the function. It only has the old value. Then you have issues. Do you understand? So it is always good to redeclare it in each of the function, because if you don't redeclare it in this function, it becomes a local variable in this function.
Yeah.
But for other programming language, I don't think it is the same. Okay. Okay, good. Now, the next one now says write program code to call what? Read data, right? Then you call read data. Read data. What's the next thing? Call what? Search num, isn't it? Search num. What's the next? Search num. Okay. Now don't forget that search num will return something, isn't it?
Oh, it means that in the function you misspelled it.
Okay, that means I misspelled it in the function. Okay, good. So it will return something, isn't it? Isn't it? So let's say whatever it returned what as a variable. Is that understood? Then the question now is that the return value from search num must be what? Must be output with what? An appropriate message. Then you write print the search value occurred var times in the what? In the array. Is this understood? Yes. Good. Thank you for reminding me. F.
Also, you said value.
Okay. Okay, good. Are we all fine? Are we fine?
Yes.
I think this was a quiz, isn't it? The quiz should not take you more than 10 minutes to answer. All this should not take you 10 minutes. That's all. That was the quiz I gave to them. That was all.
Oh,
So let's run. So the quiz now says enter what? 61, isn't it? Enter 61, enter. How many times? 2 times. That is all. It's as simple as that. So this was the next question, which was not in the quiz.